She's seen your message. You know she has. And yet, nothing. No reply, no reaction, just silence sitting there like a wall she built specifically to make you feel small. And the worst part? It's working. You're replaying every conversation, second-guessing every word, wondering what you could have done differently. Meanwhile, she's going about her day completely unbothered. Here's what I need you to understand before we go any further. That feeling you have right now, that quiet desperation, that need for an answer, that is the actual problem. Not her. Not her silence. That feeling. And today, we are going to dismantle it completely. Let's start with something most people don't want to admit. Being ignored hurts not because of who's ignoring you, but because of what you've already decided she means. Before she even responds to a single message, most men have already built an entire internal narrative around a woman. She becomes a symbol, a possibility, a solution to something they're quietly carrying. And the moment she goes quiet, the whole narrative collapses. Here's a psychological concept worth understanding. It's called variable reward reinforcement. It's the same mechanism that makes slot machines addictive. When someone gives you attention inconsistently, warm one day, cold the next, your brain doesn't lose interest. It actually becomes more fixated. The unpredictability itself is what keeps you hooked. You keep pulling the lever hoping for the reward. This is not weakness. This is neuroscience. But understanding it means you can step outside of it. The moment she goes silent and you start spiraling, checking your phone, crafting follow-up messages, wondering what you did wrong, you've already told her everything she needs to know about your emotional position. Without sending a single word, you've communicated, your attention determines my stability. And that, right there, is where all of your power went. Now let's be fair and think clearly about what's actually happening when a woman ignores you, because there are really only a few possibilities, and most of them are far less personal than you think. The first possibility, she's genuinely overwhelmed. Life is loud. People disappear into their own stress, their own problems, their own internal weather without it having anything to do with you. This happens more than men realize, and assuming rejection before confirmation is a cognitive distortion. Don't do it. The second possibility, she's testing, not consciously, not maliciously, but instinctively. Women are biologically wired to filter. Thousands of years of evolutionary pressure built a system in women that assesses how men handle uncertainty, discomfort, and silence. When she goes quiet, part of what she's learning, without even thinking about it, is how you respond to not getting what you want. Do you remain steady? Or do you unravel? The third possibility, she genuinely isn't interested, and the silence is her way of communicating that. And if that's the case, that's useful information. It's not pleasant, but it's clean. You now know where you stand and can direct your energy accordingly. Here's what all three of these scenarios have in common. The right response from you is identical in every single case. Composure. Forward motion. Continued investment in your own life. The response doesn't change based on a reason. That's the part most men miss entirely. Before we talk about what to do, we need to talk about what to stop immediately. Because these behaviors are costing you more than you realize. Stop sending follow-up messages that pretend they're not follow-up messages. Hey, random question, or just thought of you, or no worries if you're busy. She knows exactly what those are. You know exactly what those are. They're anxiety dressed up in casual clothes. Every one of those messages confirms that her silence is working exactly as intended. Stop performing on social media to get her attention. Suddenly posting your best photos. Liking things strategically. Going very public with how well you're doing. This is transparent in a way that is almost painful to watch from the outside. And she is watching. And she is drawing conclusions about your emotional state from every move. Stop turning your friends into a council of war. One conversation with someone you trust, healthy. Spending 3 days dissecting her response time and punctuation with 5 different people, that's anxiety looking for company. It doesn't resolve anything. It just keeps the wound open. Stop making her the primary topic of your internal monologue. This one is harder because it's invisible, but it matters most. Every hour you spend thinking about why she's not responding is an hour you've given her for free. She didn't earn that mental real estate. Stop paying rent she never asked for. Here's where we get to the real work. And I want you to stay with me here because this is the part that actually matters. Everything, and I mean everything, changes when you stop making any single woman the center of your emotional universe. Not as a strategy. Not as a game you play to seem less interested. But as a genuine, lived reality where your life is so full, so purposeful, and so engaging that her silence registers as a mild inconvenience rather than a crisis. Think about the men you've encountered who seem to naturally attract women without appearing to try. What do they have in common? They're not necessarily the best looking. They're not always the wealthiest. But they are consistent. They have a settled quality about them. A sense that they know where they're going and they'll get there with or without your participation. That quality, that groundedness, is not a performance. It's the product of a man who has made his own growth his primary relationship. When you become that man, genuinely, not as an act, something shifts in every interaction you have. You stop needing responses because you stop making responses the measure of your value. And paradoxically, that's exactly when people start responding. When she goes quiet, your job is simple: redirect every unit of energy you would have spent chasing her back into yourself. Go to the gym. Make progress on something you've been procrastinating. Call a friend you've neglected. Learn something. Build something. Go somewhere. Not to distract yourself from the pain, but because your life deserves your full presence whether or not she's in it. Here's what happens when you actually do the work of the previous section. She often comes back. Not always. But more often than you'd think. Because the thing that made her go quiet, the sense that she had more power in the dynamic than was earned, gets quietly disrupted when you stop confirming it. When you stop chasing, the silence loses its leverage. And curiosity often fills that vacuum. So when she re-emerges, how do you respond? With warmth, but without urgency. You're not cold. You're not punishing her. You're not passive-aggressive. But you're also not performing relief that she finally came back. You respond the way a man responds who has been living his life fully in the meantime, because you have been. Keep the response proportionate. If she sends a short message, don't reply with 5 paragraphs of emotional investment. Match the energy she brings, but slightly less. Let her do a little work to re-establish the connection. That's not manipulation, that's maintaining the natural balance of a healthy interaction. Do not reference the silence. Don't say, "Oh wow, you're alive," or anything that signals you've been sitting there counting the days. That tells her the silence worked on you more than you're letting on. Just engage with her as if you're a man who has been completely fine, because again, you should have been. And maintain standards going forward. If this pattern, the disappearing, the hot and cold, becomes a recurring feature rather than an isolated incident, that's information. That's her showing you who she is and how she operates. Believe it. Adjust accordingly. A man with real self-respect does not endlessly audition for attention from someone who dispenses it inconsistently as a form of control. Let's come back to the title, because I want to land this properly. Breaking her ego doesn't mean humiliating her. It doesn't mean making her feel rejected or inferior. Those are the responses of a man who is still controlled by his emotions, still reacting, still trying to win a game she set the rules to. The real meaning of breaking her ego is this: refusing to confirm it. Her ego, the part of her that believes your attention is guaranteed simply because she exists and is attractive, that ego only has power when men keep feeding it. Every desperate follow-up message feeds it. Every anxious social media check-in feeds it. Every time a man unravels over her silence, it feeds it. You break it by being the man who doesn't do any of those things. Not because you're playing a game, but because you genuinely have a life worth living, a standard worth maintaining, and a sense of self that doesn't rise or fall based on her reply time. That man, calm, grounded, unbothered, moving forward, is genuinely rare. And rare things are genuinely valuable. When she encounters that, something shifts. The equation she's been running in her head stops adding up. And that's not strategy. That's character. So let me bring this home. If a woman is ignoring you right now, here is your complete response: put the phone down. Get back to your life. Invest in yourself with the same energy you've been directing at her silence. If she comes back, engage warmly but without urgency. If she doesn't, let the silence become information rather than devastation, and move accordingly. The goal was never to win against her. The goal is to become a man who doesn't need to win, because he's already building something worth being part of. That's the version of you that changes the dynamic. Every time. If this hit differently than what you usually hear on topics like this, good. Drop a comment and tell me which part of this video landed hardest for you. I read every single one. I'll see you in the next one.